how to succeed in business. I've gotten most of my friends, some of them, leaving their employment, thinking that there is a lot to be earned in the business front. So they leave employment and then they create a business. But unfortunately, most of them, down the line, they fail. Their businesses, in this case here, collapse. I'm not trying to discourage anybody from being a businessman. What I would want you to do is to get into business from the word go. Get it right, and you succeed. So I would want us to look at the 4 key things that you need to do to get your business right and for it to succeed big time. And I would want to use what we call the famous balanced scorecard model. So we have here balanced scorecard. So balanced scorecard basically looks at your performance, your business performance from 4 perspectives. Number 1, we have what we call the financial perspective. Financial perspective. Number 2, we have what we call the customer perspective. Customer perspective. Number 3, we have the processes, internal processes perspective. And then number 4, lastly, we have what we call learning and innovation. Learning and innovation. Now, why most people fail quite fast when they get into business, they think that business is all about pumping in lots of capital, and then you start enjoying profits like immediately. So they get fixated on this financial perspective. That is the worst mistake you can do, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, business, just like most of things in life, they always have what we call ups and downs. If you would want to have an upward moving trajectory, then ensure that you get in your business and ensure you get these 3 quadrants right. The moment you get these 3 perspectives right, then automatically they'll push high your financials. So I would want to start with the process, internal processes. One of the things I've gotten many businessmen crying about is the fact that they got into business and they thought that, hey, it's not an 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. It would be an 8 p.m. to 5 p.m. like they were used to in their employment. Once they get here, they realize that, you will have to spend more time doing a lot of work. If you would want to save yourself as an entrepreneur and succeed, you must ensure that you have the right systems in place. Have the right systems in place. These right systems, of course, means that try as much as possible to automate your business processes. So business processes must be automated. Then number 2, you must ensure that you delegate. Hire people with the right qualifications and the right passion. People are passionate to help you run the business. I'm using the word passionate. People have the passion because there are people who will come and once you've given them a salary of say 100,000 or whatever, when you're starting, of course, you have to start a little bit low, but again, don't really press employees so much down, you'll demotivate them. So regardless of what you agree with them, good employees will get out of their way. Those ones who are passionate will get out of their way to even drive business to the company here. They will not be those kind of employees who will say, hey, I can't even share any post of the company online simply because I'm an accountant. As an accountant, I have my job specifications. I have my JD. All right. So in this case here, they strive to fix themselves on their no. Somebody who is passionate, when we are having a startup, we have to help the entrepreneurs to expand their territories, to start growing their market shares. So you're saying in that terms of processes, in terms of processes, number one, we must automate our processes. Number two, we must learn how to delegate. I've seen entrepreneurs who carry the whole organization on their shoulders, doing everything. They are the marketers. They are, in this case, the accountants. They are the people who sit at the front office. Those kind of entrepreneurs, in this case here, do not survive in the long term. So we must ensure that we have the right process. And this one, I want to even speak about this more in our subsequent videos. That is why you need to subscribe, because under processes, it also informs the concept of what here? Proper management systems. Ladies and gentlemen, you could be having all the very best kind of systems in place. But if the managers do not learn proper management skills, then automatically those processes won't work. So we want an entrepreneur who understands the most current management styles. Of course, they were quite ancient, discovered by those ancient leadership fathers, like now what we call Umbwa. Umbwa is management by walking around. A good manager is not that manager who will go and sit somewhere on some great, red, comfy set, and then your work is swinging around that particular seat as everyone else is working except you. That is not a model that works. All of us, regardless of our positions in the company, we must really get things working. We must soil our hands, all of us. So for the systems to work, we need those particular concepts, in this case, that must be taught to all managers. Because at the end of the day, we need leaders. People who are visionary, people who are transformative. People will be able to remember like the 14 principles of Henry Fayol, what we call Dad, and this, I will need like a whole session to talk about this. Dad, you see, USSR, people will be able to understand this, oh, I see. So like now we need disciplined workers. We need managers who are authoritative. We need, in this case here, for example, this is a remuneration. I mean, once this money starts trickling in, don't be very mean. Let it not be like it is only directors' lives that are changing as the employees are wallowing in poverty. They can't even afford, I mean, bus fare to work. They are working most of the time. No. Of course, as you start, when it's a startup, people can be suffering. But as we grow, if you would want to have a business that will surpass your expectations, a business that will be able to bequeath to your children, even great grandchildren, then you need managers who are able to lead the organization very well. You will need, in this case here, for example, managers who exercise empathy. Empathy, very, very important. There must be order in the business, very important. So that is about process. And as I've said, I will be looking at these processes in bigger detail in my subsequent videos. And that is why I would want you to simply go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if possible, ring that bell so they can be getting reminders whenever I post new videos. Then we come to the customer perspective. Ensure that you get this right from the word go. And the customer perspective, the balanced scorecard model tells us to look at 4 things. Every business has to do this. Otherwise, you will not survive to celebrate your second or even third birthday. You will not see your 4th year in business. 4 things. So each business must acquire customers, so customer acquisition. Number 2, customer satisfaction. Number 3, we have what we call loyalty. And then lastly, we have awareness. Now, ladies and gentlemen, customer acquisition is, the primary thing. This is why we exist as an organization. We get customers and get to serve them. Without this, all these other things will not work, because we'll be putting processes for what? So this is very important. Every business must acquire new customers every other day. And the customer acquisition is basically the CEO's role. This is something that the CEO should be able to oversee. Please, as a CEO, don't delegate this. Every time, if, for example, you have like a sales pipeline, you should be able to evaluate your pipeline and see how your salespeople are progressing. That this is a customer, for example, who was a suspect. We call them suspects in the marketing language. All right. So this person has been able, for example, to comment on our Facebook page or YouTube. All right. You have been able to even go ahead and get these people's contact, and now you have added them to your sales customer relationship management, CRM, or even a simple tool like WhatsApp. They're already in your WhatsApp, like what we do at RCM College. What we do at RCM College, you put their numbers, of course, with their consent on our WhatsApp, or you can even send them a WhatsApp link. They join themselves willingly. All right. Now, in that sales pipeline, you need to really evaluate and get to know whether you are converting those suspects to prospects. And from prospects now, are we really converting them to customers? If you're running a college like RCM College, I mean, at the reception there, have in this case here visitors book. The visitors who come there, you should be able to, even if it's on a monthly basis, you as the CEO, and this one I'm addressing the CEOs, you as the CEO, on a monthly basis, ask for that book. Get to see, I mean, out of these guys who visited us here, how many of them, you as the front desk people, have you been able to convince and made them our students, made them our customers? If you realize that these people, for example, have a conversion ratio which is almost impossible of say even 60, 70, 80%, then remunerate those people accordingly. Those are very serious people because they understand that this customer acquisition is a key pillar. Customer acquisition should be a key pillar. Now, these customers have come. After they come, what do? We are serving them and ensure that you give them service which is uncompromised. These guys came to your organization for a specific thing. They came in this case here to be served. So when they came to be served, it will be very important for you to ensure that they are getting that service and ensure that they're getting high quality service. Please don't compromise on this. If it is a college, ensure that you are putting teachers into classes who are highly qualified, teachers who are passionate. And myself as the CEO of RCM College, I've always ensured that we put teachers who are highly qualified. And most importantly, is that teachers are what here, they are passionate. Teachers are passionate. They are really after interest of all students, in this case, here doing what here? Passing. After students, in this case, here passing. Very importantly, once this has been taken care of satisfaction, then these guys, they will become loyal. Every time they think about the students here, even outside there after they clear, every time they hear of anybody talking about CPA, they'll always be sending these people to RCM. That is the kind of loyalty we are talking about. They'll always be patronizing our business. Whenever they want even short courses, they'll be coming back to RCM. That is loyalty. All right. So there must be some umbilical cord, kind of tie, which connects, in this case here, your current customers, previous customers, to your organization. Companies grow through those kind of ties. With those kind of ties, you'll be able to get repeat business. And then number two, you will be able to get what we call, in this case here, referrals. What we call referrals. I hope you're together. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, customer, we have the third, under the customer perspective, we have the fourth and the last activity, which is among the most important activities, what we call awareness. Awareness. So in awareness, we're looking at publicity. Please, if you have decided to get into entrepreneurship, ensure that you are publicizing your organization like crazily. Have, in this case here, KPIs, key performance indicators surrounding, for example, publicity. How many times do we as employees get to share our Facebook posts? Don't take that lightly. Every member of the organization has got that duty. This is a duty that belongs to everybody, to publicize the organization. So if they're on Facebook, instead of consuming other people's content, let, in this case here, ourselves as a show of our pride that we really love our company. Let's share. Let's get to share. So we are sharing our posts. We are creating, in this case here, for example, if it's TikTok, I mean, people are wearing very good uniforms for the company and they're doing a few, you may think there are a few, but you see, you're getting the word out there. You're getting the word out there. If there is anything that we have succeeded in as RCM, it is this publicity. We really get outside there to publicize our company. That era of saying that something good should be able to sell itself is long gone. It doesn't matter how good your product is. At the end of the day, regardless of how good it is, you have to get outside there and publicize. That's an old adage which used to be there when, of course, competition wasn't very high. You can't tell me, for example, you have an audit firm and then you go and just hide it somewhere and you're not really publicizing it outside. Of course, professionally, for audit, it has to be a professional publicity. You don't just do it anyhowly. But at the end of the day, you need to be in this social media. You need the social media handles where you'll be able to blog information. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we are saying here is that we must publicize our organizations. It doesn't matter whether it is a company that is selling land. It doesn't matter what kind of business you're doing. Don't tell me that you're only going to wait for referrals. If you want to feed onto this area very well, acquisition, publicity must be top-notch. It must be top-notch. Invest in media people. You need to get like these young men and women who are qualified to do short clips for you. All right. From there, now we go to this one here, which we call learning and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, as you keep on growing slowly, ensure that your employees are long life learners. Your employees are getting into classes that you are able to even sponsor them. They are studying something. You as the CEO, again, this is your role. And ensure that we have knowledge acquisition in the company. And really, it doesn't have to be like an expensive cost. At times, you can even come with like a book study program where we are telling our employees that, for example, we're going to have this company time, like 1 hour or even 2 hours in a month, where basically all of us congregate and we discuss, for example, this leadership kind of a book. We are reading sort of like a fiction novel. No, we have in this case a great productivity books where we can come and say, for example, of course, we must be eating onto company's time like 2 hours. You delegate. You give this kind of leadership in reading this book to 1 or 2 individuals, right? And then, of course, once we are there, you will get, when these employees are contributing towards, in this case here, the group, on whatever they have understood, those things will touch on the company. There will be some knowledge areas that you will be dispensing to your employees. So under learning, it will be very important, ladies and gentlemen, for you to ensure that there are some trainings happening here. Under learning, there must be, if you look at those companies that succeed heavily, highly, those companies, ladies and gentlemen, have a clear mentorship program. Once an employee gets, in this case here, to the company, they know from the word go who will be their mentor, and their mentor walks with them through the journey like that. So learning. And then, of course, we have the concept of what here? Innovation. So on innovation, we are required to come up with what here? With new products often. New products and new ways of doing things. New products and new ways of doing things to cut costs. We must be innovative. Like right now, everybody is talking about AI, artificial intelligence. So you can't really sit back and you say, hey, no. It's something that you need to hire professionals and so that they can come and do what you're training your people. Because the moment you know how to use AI like the ChatGPT, then what will happen is that if your staff were using a lot of time to create, for example, like Facebook messages, all right? Now, in this case, in a fraction of a second, someone will go to ChatGPT and tell ChatGPT that, hey, I want this kind of information created. And ChatGPT will be able to respond very fast and it will be able to give you a message. So you are saving on time. You can't tell me even right now that we are still going through the old ways of still doing video editing. We have AI tools of doing video editing quite fast. Quite fast. So we must be ahead of the game. So once in this case here, you start really flourishing as a firm, now you are an SME, you are assured of being there in the long term, you need to cut some of your revenues like 10% and invest in innovation. Investing in innovation means that you have a department called research and development, R&D, research and development. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's after you have done all these that you will be able to do what here, that you'll be able to come and now look at this financial. So this financial, we are looking at profit. And we know that to get profit, we'll be taking revenues minus cost. So under the financial perspective, now here we are putting all our lenses on the revenues. How much revenues are we getting? Is this revenue growing every year? Is this revenue growing? Of course, it will be growing if, for example, it's a company is getting customers. We are getting students, so revenue will have to grow. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, of course, if any revenue is growing, there is another mistake that entrepreneurs make. We have the concept of what here? Cost. Costs must always be contained. I've traveled. I know what happens outside there. Most of our businesses in Kenya here, we don't understand what we call frugality. We spend money anyhow. And the worst enemies of most of these businesses are we, the directors. Because we, the directors, once we do a contract, for example, worth 30 million, most of us will think that this is our money. That money belongs to the business. As a director, you need to give yourself a salary. All right. Even if you bring business for the company, then you should be able to get a commission. Of course, being director, you can make it a little bit higher. But at the end of the day, we want systems here. Not like when you wake up and say, today I'm taking 1 million. Today I'm doing this and this. And then you start misappropriating the company's finances, thinking that it be in future, you lack money to invest in all these systems here. You'll not be able to have money to do what here, research and development, innovation. So the costs always, you need a tighter, we call it bootstrapping. Have a budget from the word go. This is what we intend to spend, all right? And in that budget, always try to look at, even businesses, you have needs and wants. Try to see, this is a want, can I do without it? Because at the end of the day, if you want even to do your business to become so big, to move beyond the borders of Kenya, you must build a very big financial muscle. Building a financial muscle is remaining with a huge profitability. So profit is revenue minus what here? Revenue minus cost, and ensure that your revenues are going up. Of course, I'm also, there are things that you are investing in, like paying employees very well. If you can afford, please pay them because of the motivation aspect so that you don't lose good employees to your competitors in the near future. That's an investment to me. That's an investment to me. So if you get those employees who are really very passionate about your company, who really love the company. So in this case here, we are saying that ensure, look at these big companies. All of them, they ensure that costs are contained. Costs are contained. Costs are contained. So please feel free to make comments on my YouTube channel down there. And of course, I'll be able to respond. But most importantly, with this kind of a high quality talk that I'm giving to you guys, I expect to grow. I just realized about 70% of the people watch my YouTube videos have not yet subscribed. I would really want this thing to stabilize at about 50%. So if possible, please, when you watch my YouTube video, promote me. Just subscribe, and if possible, ring that bell. Ring that bell. That will really assist me. Now, lastly, why most businesses in this case here fail to succeed, is because you'll get all these things in this case here right. But in your processes, you fail on one process called compliance. Compliance, for example, you're not looking at matters of KRA. So you start in this case here playing mouse kind of games with the taxman. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm an auditor. I run Aura and a company, Certified Public Accountants of Kenya. So on one side of the coin, I'm a teacher, teaching at RCM. On the other side of the coin, I'm an auditor. I can assure you, especially with this e-teams thing that KRA has put in place, where they are helping generate invoices, etc. It means that even in the near future, you will not be, doing any return. KRA will be able to know your profit. They can even start now invoicing you immediately. They'll be able to see your profits by the end of the year, and then they tell you, hey, please pay up this amount. So you cannot afford at this age and era, to have like two payrolls. One payroll over the table, another payroll under the table. No, let processes work very well. If you have got serious marketers, you have directors in this case here who are ethical, men of high integrity, then automatically you'll be able to get enough revenue that will be able to finance most of these procedures, including you as a director. All right. And of course, in terms of taxes, of course, with good systems, you'll be able to engage in what we call tax avoidance, which is legal. How do I, in this case here, minimize my costs, my taxes legally? Those are things, ladies and gentlemen, if you get to us as Aura and company, then we shall be able to show you how to put in proper systems, what we call internal controls. We shall be able to do for you what we call the tax health checks and advise you accordingly. And then, of course, the other thing that we shall be able to help you, which has also made organizations, in this case here, fail big time, still under process, under systems, is what we call corporate governance. So under corporate governance, of course, we are looking at, you came together as 5 directors. And then now we have 2 directors who have taken control. All right. That's what we call in this case here. How do you take control and you are 2? And then you are, of course, putting everyone else out. No. The company can do many things when you are working together. The moment you understand how corporate governance works, the chairman's role, the CEO's role, etc., then this will hold the business will be able to roll forward. Thank you so much. I hope this is exciting. And my prayers are this will be able to help your business to move to the next level. For those of you, of course, who would want to reach out to me, my personal number is 0721 620 183, like that. My name is Dr. Joshua Aura. Thank you and bye.